Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to an absolutely miserable day in Scotland. Now, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, this isn't a rebuild video this week. The intention was to work on the van, but unfortunately some of the bits that I ordered were wrong, so it's going to have to wait a week. But by way of an update, I'm still waiting on the V5 coming through for the Fiesta before we can do any more work on that. And as you can tell by the state of the RS, it's been a pretty wild week. So we need to give that a wash and get that up for sale. But for today's video, I thought we would do a review of MJJC's new foam cannon Pro. I got sent one by them, and this is not a paid promo by MJJC, so if this thing's rubbish, I'll be sure to tell you. And we're going to compare it against Autoglim's foam cannon, because I've been using this for about 4 or 5 weeks now, and I'm really impressed with it. So let's see if this one can do as good a job. Right, so in the box, you get the bottle, you get the spray nozzle. I got the Karcher K2 adapter for it, because obviously I use a Karcher pressure washer. You get a larger nib for inside here, obviously generates a lot more foam. And then you get mesh filters that go inside here. So because the weather's so rubbish, what we'll do before we go around and actually try it out on a car, is we'll mix up the same amount of polar wash to go in here and into here. Fill it up with the same amount of water in both so that that's a constant. And then we'll try out the new cannon first, see how thick the foam is, and then we'll move on and compare it against my tried and tested Autoglim foamer. Right, now that we're around at the car, I cleaned the wheels ahead of time, save you guys having to watch that. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the new foam cannon and cover the entire side of the car in it and see how thick a foam it puts down. Then we're going to power wash that off and apply the foam again, but in the Autoglim foam cannon. Now, as with every foam cannon you're probably likely to ever buy, all of them have this variable nozzle on the end that allows you to adapt the spray width. So what we'll do is we'll fire it on the car, we'll get that to the sweet spot that we want it at, and then we'll apply it to the car before rinsing it off, before applying it again with the Autoglim one. That makes sense? Awesome. Right, let's get on with it. Man, that is some pretty thick foam. Quite impressed with that. The other thing I meant to point out with this is you can obviously control the amount of pressure. So to full pressure, and right the way down to no pressure. So I've got it set about halfway at the moment, which seems to be about right. So let's do a little bit more on the bonnet, just to try and fine tune it a little bit more. Yeah, I think I've got the sweet spot now. And just for a close-up shot, this is how sticky this foam is. That looks like you're adding an insulation into a wall. That's crazy. Right, so anyway, let's get this blasted off, and then we'll apply the same polar wash again, but through the Autoglim spray. See if there's a difference. Right, so ignoring the fact that my hose just burst, and as you can see, it is absolutely tipping it down. Let's break out the auto glim cannon, cover the car in that as well, see if we can notice a difference. I don't know if that's coming through on camera or not, but you can absolutely tell the difference. And I genuinely thought this was going to do better. So this is the auto glim cannon, and look how kind of liquid is the best way to describe it. That is compared to what came out of the Pro Foamer from MJJC. That is quite a difference. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with this foam cannon. It did far better than the auto glim one. Look how fast that's running off with the auto glim. That's crazy. So anyway, because the weather's so horrid, I'm going to very quickly wash the rest of this car, and we'll see you guys back in the garage in just a sec. There is an unbelievable amount of irony in the fact that I just finished washing a car and it stops raining. But anyway, I am super impressed with that Foam Cannon Pro. I really am. Now I quite rate the Meguiar's Foam Cannon, but that thing is so much better. Really am impressed with how thick the foam came out of that thing. The one thing I do like about the auto glim bottle versus that, just to make all things fair and equal, is the auto glim bottle turns on the end, whereas this one doesn't. But that's a pretty small compromise to make for an incredibly efficient foam cannon. Now you may notice that there's a lot less liquid left in this one than there is in the MJJC, and that's not because it used far more, it's just simply because I used this to wash the rest of the car. And the reason why I did that is because I'm planning on parking this to one side for just now, and I'm going to use the MJJC Foam Cannon Pro to keep the fleet clean for just now. Two reasons for it. Obviously, as you've heard me talking about through this entire video, I'm quite impressed by it, but also I want to see how it stands up against multiple use. Because like I say, the auto glim cannon, I've been using that for months now and it's not failed me once. So let's see how this thing stands up to the rigour of washing quite as many cars as I do in a week. And from a pricing point of view, the MJJC Foam Cannon comes in at around about 35 to 40 quid, and so does the Polar Blaster by Auto Glim. So there really isn't anything in it. And I will leave links to both these in the description of the video if you want to check them out. So anyway, that's going to be the end of this week's episode, guys and girls. I hope you liked it. A little bit different than the rebuilds, but unfortunately the world of parts and deliveries at the moment is just a little bit unpredictable. In next week's video, what we're going to do, we're going to start work on the 2020 Transporter. Now for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I've actually started working on this car already, and you'll have seen some of the horror story photos. So if you're new around here, click the subscribe button for me. That would be absolutely awesome, so you can watch this rebuild unfold. And as always, I hope you're keeping well and I hope you're keeping safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.